Good morning, my dear students. Hope you are safe at home. Today we are going to talk about Unit 3, Living Organism Classification and Diversity. First, we will talk about the living organism. The living organisms are classified according to the size and shape, according to the way of environment, and according to the way of feeding. So we classify the living organisms according to the size and shape, way of feeding, and according to the environment. First, we will talk about according to the size. I have a large size animals and small size animals. Large size animals like elephant and rhinoceros, and small animals like rabbit, lizard, and rats. And we classify the animals or the living organism according to the environment. Some animals live in water, like hippo, crocodile, and fish. And other animals live on land, like horse, lion, donkeys, dogs, cats. There is a diversity in the plants. We classify the plants according to the shape. I have a huge trees, like palm trees and camphor plants, and a short weeds like clover and gergear. And we classify the plants according to the size of leaves. I have a large size leaf and small size leaf. Large size leaves like banana. Bananas have large size leaf, and mulukhiyya have small size leaf. Okay? I have another living organism which is called microorganisms. Microorganisms is a living organism that can't be seen by the naked eye, and they spread everywhere in air, water, soil, and we have to see it under the microscope. So what is the meaning of microorganisms? Microorganisms is a living organism that can't be seen by the naked eye, and they spread everywhere in the air, soil, and water, and we have to see it under the microscope, like amoeba, paramecium, and euglena. They are different from each other according to their shape and according to the way of movement. This is the shape of amoeba under the microscope, and this is the shape of euglena under the microscope because we can't see it by the naked eye, and this is the shape of paramecium, okay? And they are different in the shape and the way of movement. Now we will talk about the classification of plants or the classification of the animals. First, we will talk about the classification of plants. We classify the plants according to the external shape or the external appearance and the way of reproduction. First, we will talk about the external shape or the external appearance. Some plants can be distinguished into root, stem, and leaves, and another plants can't be distinguished into roots and stem and leaves. The plants that can't be distinguished into root and stem and leaf, like algae or algae, so it doesn't distinguish into root, stem, and leaves, like brown algae. This is the shape of brown algae. And red algae. This is the shape of the red algae. And this is the shape of the green algae. Okay, we can see it in the sea, in the oceans, under the surface of the water. Okay, but the plants that can be distinguished into root, stem, and leaves, like camphor plants. Look, we can see the roots. It will be, we can see it because it's under the surface of the earth. But we can see the stem, it's made of wood, and the leaves. And maize, which is corn, you know corn. Corn have the root, stem, and leaves. So we can classify the plants according to the external shape or external appearance. That some plants that have that can't be distinguished into root, stem, and leaves, and another plants can't be distinguished into root, stem, and leaf. That can't be distinguished into root and stem and leaves, like algae or algae, green, red, and brown. And the plants that are distinguished into root, stem, and leaves, like camphor, maize, wheat plants, okay? Now we will talk about the reproduction, the way of reproduction. I have two ways of reproduction: by spores or by seeds. First, we will talk about by spores. By spores, I have some terrestrial plants that reproduce by forming spores, like adiantum and vulgare. These types of plants that reproduce by making spores, or by formation of spores. They are called Ferns plants, and I have two examples on ferns like vulgare and adiantum. Now we will talk about the formation, the plants that reproduce by forming seeds. First, we will talk about the plant that form seeds inside cones and not in the pericarp. What is the meaning of pericarp? Pericarp, which means the plant envelope or the fruit envelope, okay? The plants that produce the seeds inside cones and no pericarp called Gymnosperms. I have two examples on Gymnosperms. Cycas plant, and this is the shape of cycas plant. Here. And pine plant. So I have two examples on Gymnosperms, which is form seeds inside cones and no pericarp, like cycas plant and pine plant. Another examples of the plant that form the seeds inside the pericarp. So they have the seeds formed inside the pericarp. They have a pericarp, which is called fruit envelope. This is called Angiosperms. They are called Angiosperms, okay? Angiosperms have two examples, monocotyledon or dicotyledon. Monocotyledon, at which the seeds is formed of only one seed, like maize, which is corn, and wheat. They consist of only one seed, so they are called monocotyledon. And dicotyledon, which they form two seeds. They form two seeds, or the seeds can be divided into two parts, okay? Like bean, you will look to the seed, you find that it's divided into two parts. And pear plant, that the seeds consist of two parts, okay? So Gymnosperms, the seeds formed inside cones and no pericarp, like pine plants and cycas plant. And the seeds formed inside cones like Angiosperms. Angiosperms divided into two types of plants, monocotyledon and dicotyledon. Monocotyledon consists of only one seed. Dicotyledon, the seeds will be divided into two parts, like bean and pear, okay? Now we will talk about the classification of the animals. We classified the animals according, firstly, about the body support. I have some animals that don't have body support. Like they are called soft body, or they have soft body. Like jellyfish, earthworm, look, this is the earthworm. They don't have body support. And jellyfish, they don't have body support, doesn't have body support. And octopus, they doesn't have body support. So they have soft bodies, okay? Now we will talk about the supported body, the animals that have support body. It may be external support or internal support. External support, like snail, have external support outward the body and muscles. And about the internal support, so they have vertebral column, which is called backbone. So they are called vertebrates. They are called vertebrate animals, which have vertebral column or backbone, okay? Like fish, birds, cow, dogs, cats. Now we will talk about some types of living organism, which is called arthropods. Arthropods, they are invertebrates, that they have jointed legs. We classify the arthropods into three types: insects, arachnids, and myriapods. Insects like bees, cockroach, flies, grasshoppers, they have 3 pairs of jointed legs. They have 3 pairs of jointed legs. This is the insects. Now we will talk about the arachnids. Arachnids have 4 pairs of jointed legs. Pair equal 2 legs. So 4 pairs, which means they have 8 legs, okay? Like spider and scorpion. They have 4 pairs of jointed legs. 4 on the right side and 4 in the left side, like spider and scorpion. So they have 8 legs, okay? Now we will talk about myriapods. Myriapods, animals, invertebrates or arthropods that have numerous legs, many legs, like Scolopendra, maybe 44 legs or more, and Julius, which have numerous legs, maybe 1,000 or more, okay? Now we will talk about classify the animals according to the type and the number of teeth. Okay, first I have animals that don't have teeth, which is called teethless or edentates. Edentates, which means no teeth, like sloth. This is the picture for sloth and armadillo. Now we will talk about some types of animals that have teeth extend outward their mouth. Why the teeth extend outward the mouth? To easily catch insects or to capture the insects, like hedgehog. This is the video for hedgehog. They have teeth extend outward their mouths, or its mouth, to easily catch insects or to capture the insects, okay? So the animals that have teeth extend outward the mouth, like hedgehog, okay? Now we will talk about the types of animals that have sharp canines, with molar and sharp projection of molar and sharp molars, which is tiger, lions. And I have some types of animals that have sharp incisors. We classified according to the types, a number of incisors, to the rodents and lagomorphs. Rodents have 1 pair of incisors at upper jaw and 1 pair of incisors at lower jaw. But lagomorphs have 2 pairs of incisors at upper jaw and 1 pair in lower jaw. This is the difference between the rodents and lagomorphs. Rodents have 1 pair of incisors at upper jaw and 1 pair lower jaw. But lagomorphs have 2 pairs of incisors at upper jaw and 1 pair in lower jaw. Rodents, what are the examples of rodents? Like rats, like jerboa, and lagomorphs like rabbits, okay? The classification of the living organism and the diversity of the living organism, it's a branch of biology that studies the similarities and the difference among the living organisms. And this branch of biology, it's called taxonomy. So what is the meaning of taxonomy? It's the branch of biology that studies the similarities and the difference among the living organisms. The living organisms that are more similar in their properties, they are called species. Species, which is a group of animals that can reproduce and produce fertile individuals. So if there is a mating between living organisms, we should have the same species. Like if we make a mate between a horse, you should mate another horse. When they mate a horse with donkey, they produce mule. Mule is a new species that is sterile, that can't give birth. So we should mate between the same species to give a new fertile individuals, okay? So the basic unit of classification is called species. Thank you for listening.